LEGO games. Over the years, they have constructed many hub worlds and open worlds. And well, now we get to explore an entire galaxy in LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. And with there being a total of 24 planets in the Skywalker Saga, well, let's just take Kijimi out of the equation, because you can't actually explore it. Let's rank them. And that's obviously from worst to best. So let's cue the music. Right, hello there guys, I'm RuggedEagle and welcome to another LEGO game video. I have no idea why I struggled so much with that one, but anyway, if you do go to enjoy, please feel free to subscribe and go to drop a like. It is up to you though, but I do highly recommend. And you have to go to drop a like if you have ever jumped off the helicarrier in LEGO Marvel 1. Hey, I got you all there, didn't I? And actually thinking about it, do you remember the amazing soundtrack when you jumped off the helicarrier? Oh, that was some next level stuff. Anyway, I'm getting lost here. Let's get into the rules and regulations for ranking all the planets. Alright then, so when I am ranking all 24 planets from worst to best, I'm going to be looking at how aesthetically pleasing them planets are. And we're not just going to be looking at all of the exteriors, we're going to be going homes under the hammer here. We're going straight into all the interiors and how much it offers the player in terms of depth of exploration. So yeah, to sum it up, we're looking at the exteriors and the interiors and just what it offers the player for exploration. Right then, there we go. It's time to begin the ranking, and I'm sure you all know what comes at 24. And that is Kijimi, because there ain't much to explore. The planet is just sat there doing nothing more. And that's why it gets such a low score at number 24. That's the Kijimi rap. So yeah, in all seriousness though, Kijimi offers very little because you can't even land on the planet, so technically there's 23 explorable planets, but yeah, we do go to it in Rise of Skywalker, and I don't get why it wasn't added. I'm not all too bothered though, because them Kijimi crooks scare me. Oh, don't mess with them. So technically the worst planet to explore in the game is at number 23, and that being Crate. So I'll tell you what, Crate it ain't all that great, and the main reason why is because you cannot access outside of the Resistance bunker, which is a little bit disappointing to say you do see outside on the battle between Luke and Kylo Ren. Now you may notice when you try to 100% the planet of Crate, when you do a few of the puzzles to get some kyber bricks in the interiors are actually copied and pasted around. They're all the same crystal cave looking room with a different kyber brick puzzle in the middle. And this doesn't bother me that much because we have 23 explorable planets, which is just ridiculous, and hats off to the developers. I'm not expecting to go into a crystal cave and see a massive boat in the middle like the Goonies. The funny thing is, Crate was my most anticipated planet in the game. I don't know why. I know it's just a flat salty planet. And I do think they did a good job with the Resistance bunker, matching it to the source material. It's just fairly disappointing how you cannot go outside when you do get to see it in the boss battle, and that's the main reason why I think Crate is the worst planet, because he doesn't really want me to go back there once I've completed the game, because I can just explore other planets which are better. So there we go, coming in at number 22, and this was very close with number 23, and that is Dequar. Now, Dequar for me, it is just a Resistance base. It mainly works, like I stated in one of my other videos, as a catalyst to get you through the story, that being in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens and LEGO Star Wars The Skywalker Saga. I don't really see Dequar being anything too interesting to anyone. Now, I just want to say straight off the bat, it is a massive improvement, Dequar in the Skywalker Saga compared to LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. I'm telling you, it's night and day. It's such a big improvement, because Dequar in The Force Awakens is shocking. Right, I may have been a little bit harsh then, but you know what, you know where I'm coming from. Now, Dequar is very forgettable. It's only in The Force Awakens, mainly just as the Resistance base, and it's not one of them planets that you remember, because it's a very basic grassy planet with a Resistance base on it. It's not like Agent Kloss, which is a bit of a jungle, or Dagobah, which is a swamp. So in my opinion, it's a very forgettable planet, and to say the source material that the developers were going off, I actually think they did a really outstanding job, because it's a massive improvement compared to LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens, and that's why Dequar comes in at number 22. Because there's nothing much to do or any verticality to the planet. It's all very horizontal with a few bunkers, and you can go into a few of the interiors, but they ain't the most exciting things going unless you're trying to find the map to Luke Skywalker on a fantastic planet, which is Act 2, but we'll get to where that is later. Next up at 21 is Hoth. So the planet of Hoth falls under a very similar scenario to the planet of Crate. You cannot leave Echo Base. Now, in terms of looking at Echo Base itself, I rather enjoyed 100% in this planet, and I don't know why. It's probably because it is very unique, because obviously it's a snowy planet. Now, some people may argue it does get a little bit repetitive with all the corridors within inside Echo Base, but to me personally, that is the charm of Echo Base, and I have to say, if we would have got the outside district of Hoth alongside Echo Base, it would have been a hell of a lot higher. The first level of the Empire Strikes Back, where you explore Hoth on your Tauntaun, is an absolute spectacular level, and if you would have had that outside district paired with Echo Base, Hoth would have been easily top 10, maybe top 5, but technically you can go back to explore the outside of Hoth if you load up that level, so technically you can. But we are ranking the planet purely, so that is why Hoth comes in at 21, but I do still think Hoth is very solid. Alrighty then, so moving into the top 20 and coming in at number 20 is Endor. The best thing about Endor is being C-3PO walking around and all the Ewoks praying to you, gold guy, gold guy. Now on the planet of Endor you only can access the Ewok village, which is fair enough. Now, the Ewok village takes a completely different strategy in the way it is built, because it is mainly built vertically with many numerous layers applied to it. Now, this does become quite a bit of a hassle and a ball ache when you're trying to get 100% for this planet, because you're up and down, and when you're trying to track certain carbricks and quests, it's annoying with all the layers, but we're looking at the aesthetics of the planet. Now, Endor is definitely a unique one, and it doesn't have any major accessible interiors, but you can go in a few of the Ewoks' houses, such as the Ewok Doctors. You can go in his like little doctor's cabin thing. I mean, personally, I wouldn't call it a hospital, but I do love how Endor feels lived in. You see all the Ewoks walking around minding their own business, and I really like it how it adds that depth. And by far the most impressive feature about Endor is the sheer verticality of the planet. Anyway, let's move on to number 19. Now, the planet at number 19 really did surprise me, because I thought this were going to be one of the worst planets in the game before I got my hands on it, and that is Aegon Kloss. So Aegon Kloss is the planet where Leia died. Pretty much it's summed up. It's all that flying around in space, mate. You got to slow down, Leia. Slow down. Now, Aegon Kloss is a very different planet because it's more of a jungle. It's a tropical planet. And all I remember from Aegon Kloss was that amazing side quest where the little astromech was sat there sunbathing and you had to block the sun out of his way. That was a fun little side quest. Oh yeah, not to forget the reference to Lord of the Rings with the side quest Second Breakfast from Beaumont Kin, who is the actor who says the famous line, "What about second breakfast?" And the best thing is how they use the Tantive 4's engines to literally cook the breakfast. Like, that is extreme. But anyway, back to the planet of Aegon Kloss. So Aegon Kloss offers more than what meets the eye. The first hub level of the Rise of Skywalker, where you do the parkour crash course, I really love how they integrated that into the planet for the hub level, and you can do that anytime after. And when I was doing this crash course both in the story and in the open world, it really did make me go to appreciate Aegon Kloss. I love the background scenery of the tropical forest. And you have to give him credit for integrating the fully built Lego Tantive 4. I really wish you could have gone inside of that, but unfortunately you can't. Now, out of all of the Resistance bases, Aegon Kloss by far is the best one. It just has even more to offer. You've got the fully built Lego Tantive 4, you've got the parkour crash course, some amazing tropical scenery, and some caves to explore. And Aegon Kloss is quite a decent sized planet. You know what they say, the bigger the better, and I was surprised at the size of Aegon Kloss. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it. It was a surprise to be sure, but a welcome one. That's why Aegon Kloss comes in at number 19. So striking its way into number 18 is the complete contrast of a tropical rainforest, and that is Exegol. And hey, don't worry, you don't need a Sith Wayfinder to get here. So Exegol in this game is a complete contrast to pretty much every single planet in this game, because it is very dark and grungy. Coming to think of it, I haven't used that word in ages. Oh, actually, I did a missed opportunity there. That is a word I haven't heard in a long time. Now, Exegol might not be everyone's cup of tea, and it kinda lies in the middle. You either like Exegol or you don't like it at all. It really is down to personal preference, because at the end of the day, it's a very, very dark planet. So Exegol doesn't have all too much going on outside of the Sith Citadel. There's some broken Star Destroyers in the background, and I do quite like the background scenery. Now, if you're a massive fan of riding elevators, RuggedEagle is for you. I wish it would have had the, Clone Wars 3 elevator music. That would have made it top notch. Oh, such a good theme. Oh, I mean, should I call it the elevator music? Yeah, ignore that one. But anyway, if you do go to repair Palpatine's throne on RuggedEagle, it does actually have a disco song. It's like this weird Sith disco song. It's pretty cool. This is probably the most exciting thing on the planet, so behold. And as I stated earlier, RuggedEagle is a really weird one because I know a lot of people don't really like this planet and some people really enjoy it because it is very unique, so it's kind of a mixed bag, and that's why I think it deserves this position on the ranking. Right then, coming in at number 17 is Utapau. I know, I'm only messing with you. I know it's Utapau, I know. So, Utapau in this game I thought was handled very well, to say it's only shown very briefly in Revenge of the Sith. Now, the planet of Utapau has a very monotone colour palette. There ain't too many saturated colours going on, it's all very flat in terms of colour. Now, I love my saturated planets such as Naboo with all the crystal blue water and stuff, and you can see how Utapau is very flat in terms of colour. Now, there are a few areas to Utapau that are just literally shrouded in shadow, and it can be a little bit too dark for me, personally. Now, Utapau falls under the same category as Endor. The planet is very vertical with numerous layers applied to it. And that is how Utapau is built, because literally it's big holes in the ground with many settlements applied to it. So that is how Utapau is portrayed. However, there isn't that many layers on Utapau, if you know where I'm coming from. And I didn't expect there to be, because you literally see Utapau for a few minutes in Revenge of the Sith, so I'm not expecting a massive city settlement beneath me. And my favourite memory on the planet of Utapau so far is the mini-boss battle you do against the Varactyl. Is that how you say it? You basically have to shoot it as it's crawling against the walls in Utapau like a horror movie, and they make some weird sounds, Varactyls, like, take a listen. And I don't know why, but that sound just reminds me of my childhood so much, watching Revenge of the Sith, just hearing the Varactyls in the background. It's just a childhood memory. Now, my only real issue with Utapau is, like I mentioned earlier, the colour scheme can be very monotone for me, and when you're traversing it trying to 100% the planet, it can be a little bit of a slight pain. So I have to say, I was kind of surprised with Utapau to say it's only shown briefly in Revenge of the Sith, and at number 16... is Dagobah. Now, Dagobah and Utapau were one of those that I was juggling. I didn't really know which to put above which, and I finally came to the conclusion that Dagobah is slightly better. No, I am aware that Dagobah is a swamp, so it's not the most exhilarating place going. Now, to say it is a swamp, I think they did very, very good with it, and I love how you can just pop down to Grandad Yoda's little hut, have a brew, have a cookie, or whatever you want. He's everyone's favourite green Grandad. And the little green friend has a very, very good song too. I mean, I saw the little runt sitting there on a log. I asked him his name in his raspy voice. He said, Yoda. Yeah, Yoda. I mean, Obi-Wan sent me here, of course. He said, Yoda will show you the ways of the Force. Why, Yoda. Why, Yoda. Yeah, I'm losing it. I'm losing the plot. Anyway, back on to Dagobah. Now, Dagobah is a really unique planet in this game, and I really appreciate all the creatures flying around, especially that big bird thing that you have to fight. I have no idea what it's called. And I really love how they captured that desolate atmosphere on Dagobah, because it's only Yoda living there on his own, but all the lizards and creatures flying around and walking around, it just adds that desolate atmosphere to the planet. And I think my love from Dagobah really comes from The Empire Strikes Back, when you're going through the crash course with Yoda on your back, which is an amazing outfit. And I like how the developers just plonked all the Kyber up in the trees, mainly, because when you're swinging around on the vines collecting Kyber, it just makes you feel like you're training again with Master Yoda. Now, Dagobah in this game looks like it's shot in camera raw. It's very, very desaturated, and there ain't many colours going on. Now, I do have to admit the planet of Dagobah does feel a little bit linear. It's not like you can go off track everywhere. You are stuck to the pathways in some sort of sense. Now, Dagobah would have earned a little bit more brownie points if you could head in any direction you want, because it does feel a little bit too linear for me, and it would have been better a bit more open. Now, I tell you what made me not enjoy Dagobah, that mission where you got to take the astromech around Dagobah to build his house. Oh, that mission were annoying. I remember the name of it, A New Home, and it's not like you unlocked any any good character neither, just some random astromech, but whatever. Dagobah wouldn't be this high on the list if I didn't enjoy it, and guess what, I do. I love the desolate atmosphere and the different vibe it has. And not to forget, Yoda's hut is absolutely top notch. Anyway, let's move on to number 15. So at number 15 we have the Ocean Moon of Endor, Kefbir. Right, so Kefbir, I have to admit, it did get a little bit annoying when I was trying to 100% it, having to go back to the Death Star ruins over and over again. That's like my only major complaint. Now, the first time I saw them Death Star ruins, I was absolutely astonished because they were really impressive to explore and I loved it. It just felt like exploring an abandoned building or something. And I loved all the lights flickering, flashing onto the water on the floor, giving off the reflections and all the Stormtrooper helmets dotted around. It was pretty cool to go around it. Now, it definitely ain't a no-brainer. The Death Star 2 ruins is the main attraction on Kefbir. Now, at the back of Kefbir, there's an entire village that you can explore, and it does have a few accessible interiors, which I did not expect. And one of the accessible interiors was like a mini museum where you could read up on Captain Phasma and some other relics from Star Wars. Now, very similar to Act 2, I really do think Kefbir is one of the better looking planets in terms of graphical potential. You've got all the rocks with the water reflections on it, and the water does look really good, except from when you're travelling over to the Death Star 2 ruins. I do not like that little animation. Now, I really do appreciate the developers adding it into the game, but whenever the boat hits the water, it doesn't splash or anything, and it just looks a little bit unfinished, but it's only a little traversing animation, it's nothing major. So pretty much Kefbir is just the Death Star 2 ruins, that's why I really like it, and you do have the little village at the back, and you also have some caves that you can go in and explore, and I remember the mouse droid boss battle. That was a really fun boss battle, a bit of a strange one, but I have to admit it was kind of fun. So really the main aspect carrying Kefbir on this list so high is the Death Star 2 ruins. I love the village though, and they didn't need to add that in, but guess what, they did. So that's why Kefbir comes in at number 15. Right then, you best not be like Anakin, because coming in at number 14 is a sandy planet. Can you guess which one out of the three? Yeah, it's Jakku. Right, I have no idea why I like Jakku so much, but it is the most open planet in this game, I reckon. I love traversing all the sand dunes on my speeder, exploring some of the broken Star Destroyers. It has quite a bit to offer. Now, some of you may be sat there thinking it's a little bit bland, it's just a load of sand, so obviously it's going to be open, but I really like that. And it really does help the scope of Jakku having this massive open playing field to ride around on your vehicles and do whatever you want. Now, you also do have the Tonal Village, is that how you say it? And I don't think the Tonal Village is anything major, it's not like the most exhilarating place, so I'm mainly just going to look at Jakku with the Nima Outpost, because the Tonal Village is there. That's enough said. Now, what makes the planet of Jakku even better, whenever I'm walking around, I literally have John Williams in my ear playing that amazing thing, the dun-dun-dun-dun. Dun, 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 dun. It's all I hear. I mean, I'm out here just slaughtering anything I see, and I just have that peaceful dun, 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 dun. And weirdly, when I 100%ed the game, I found myself frequently going back to Jakku. I just love the open spaces, going around on the speeders, showcasing your characters there, and I love the vibrant, saturated colours. Now, like I stated earlier, this sandy planet just beat Jakku for me, and at number 13, we have Pasaana. Right, I am well aware that Pasaana is yet again another sandy planet, but I really do believe it has a rich personality in this game because I love the festival. Now, apart from the festival, they ain't all too much going on in Pasaana, I am going to admit that. Now, in the Pasaana Plains, there ain't all too much going on. I do like how you can go into the sinking sand and enter the Vexis Cave, which is the giant snake creature. And I thought that was a nice little added bonus, and I didn't really find Pasaana all too complicated to get 100% on, and the Pasaana Plains, they're there, they're just not anything amazing. Now, the main reason why this planet ranks so high on my ranking is because I really do think the festival has so much life in it. It is very lively. I love all the character models dancing around and the music. It really just tops off the planet. I mean, the people on Pasaana do not stop partying. Even entering a cave, you can find like a little cave rave. And I have to admit, I always find myself returning back to Pasaana whenever I just want to chill out, be some characters, because I love the music and just how lively it feels. And I think that's why Pasaana is so high on the list for me, because I really do appreciate its unique personality. Right then, coming in at number 12 is a really green planet, and that is Takodana. Now, Takodana is very, very saturated. It's one of the most brightest planets in the game, and I love it. I love all the green scenery. And let me just say, Takodana in the Skywalker Saga is so much better than in LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens. Takodana in that game was shocking. And at least this time we can enter Maz's castle. Now Takodana is a little bit linear in the way it is laid out. And this ain't all too much of a big deal because the main highlight for me on Takodana is Maz's castle. It has a few layers to it. You have the basement, you have the main floor where the bar is, and then you have the upper section. Now don't ask me, I don't know why the Cantina song is playing in Maz's castle, but hey, it's a win because it's the Cantina song. Now I would have just simply have been happy with Maz's castle, but they went to add a forest at the front of the castle, which they didn't need to put in there because you don't really enter it in the story. Now granted, the forest is a little bit linear, you can't really go off in multiple directions, and I don't know why they added a vehicle to drive around it. Like, you are not driving that vehicle, you are going to fail miserably. So yeah, overall, very pleasantly surprised with Takodana, and I think it has to be this high anyway, because it absolutely blows LEGO Star Wars The Force Awakens Takodana out of the park. Anyway, making its way just outside the top 10 is Yavin 4. So Yavin 4 in this game is a lot bigger than I thought it were gonna be. Now a major gripe I have with it, when I were trying to 100% this planet and do some of the quests for the characters such as Mon Mothma, you're running around the temple that much in a circle because the door's only on one end. However though, that being said though, there is some ladders on the side which allows you easily to access the middle of the temple. And Yavin 4 does have some really fun areas to the temple, like there's an entire cinema going on in the temple. And within the temple there is a few accessible interiors such as the doctor's room where they heal up broken rebel troopers. And that's what really impressed me with Yavin 4, the sheer verticality of it. There's so many flights of stairs, I feel like Rocky Balboa when I'm running up there. Now once you finally make it up all them flights of stairs, it doesn't disappoint because I love the top of the temple, seeing the amazing view at the top. And I also really appreciate how we have the big rebel base in the temple, and you can also enter the forest and see some ruins from past temples. And sometimes if you look up into the trees you can see some Woolamanders, which are basically like blue monkeys. And that's why I think Yavin 4 deserves to be on this spot at number 11. Now it's time to move into the top 10, and coming in at number 10 is Bespin. Now, I think we all can agree here the best thing about Bespin is the orange colour palette. The sky just looks, it looks good. Now, there was only one annoying thing about Bespin for me, and that's how you couldn't access the Administrator's Palace. It's just, you see it in the level in Empire Strikes Back, but you can't access the interior. And that's not to say there isn't any interiors on Bespin, but a lot of the interiors on Bespin are mainly designed around puzzles. However though, Bespin does have one of the best interiors. It's like this little private room lounge looking thing, and it's got an amazing view of the sunset sky on Bespin. And oh boy, when I found this interior on Bespin, I know it's just like a double glazed window with an amazing view, but I just think it's one of the best interiors. Now to say you don't really see much of Cloud City within the Empire Strikes Back, you mainly see the landing pad, the Administrator's Palace and the Carbonite freezing chamber. Now to say they could have just as simply allowed us to explore the landing pad and what we see in the films, they didn't. We can actually explore most of Cloud City. It's kind of like the city centre. And I love all the layers to the city centre. You've got loads of balconies, loads of walkways, seeing all the pedestrians walking around minding their own business. However, saying all this though, the map for Bespin isn't very clear. It is one of the most confusing maps going with all the layers. And if they would have allowed us to explore the Administrator's Palace, which you play through in one of the levels in the Empire Strikes Back, Bespin would have been even higher for me. Even if it was the exact same interior that you see on the level, I would have been happy with that. But anyway, we got what we got, and it did really impress me. Right then, swooping its way into number 9 is going to be one of these that are very debatable whether you agree or not, and that is Geonosis. Now, hold your horses, let me explain. Right, well I understand why most people may be a little bit disappointed with Geonosis because you can't explore the Petronaki Arena and there is a few aspects missing. Which I totally understand. Now, I think Geonosis would have been better in this game if it took a very similar approach to the planet of Jakku. And basically what I mean by that, it would have been awesome to go and explore the sand dunes on Geonosis where the big battle takes place. And you can visually look out onto the sand dunes of Geonosis, seeing all the big separatist core ships. Now, it would have been been awesome if you could explore the Geonosis sand dunes, but anyway, let's actually discuss what we do have to explore. And surprisingly, Geonosis has a fair share of accessible interiors. And one of these interiors is the Separatist meeting room, where you have that big table with the red holo projector, and it just looks wicked. And then alongside that, you can explore where Obi-Wan was held hostage by Count Dooku, and I love that little room. In the game, there's like a Gungan there. Darth Jar Jar. And then there's some weird, humorous interiors like LEGO games have, where there's the shower room where B-1 battle droids are taking a shower. Like, how does that work? And one of the best quests in the game is on Geonosis, where you have to protect some clone troopers from all the beasts from the Petronaki Arena. And I love that quest so much, it really made me appreciate Geonosis running around fighting the Ackley, the Nexus, the Reek. Now, you can't go and exactly explore the entire droid factory from the level, but there is little mini droid factories dotted around, and there's quite a few interiors on Geonosis. And I really appreciate how you can climb most of the rocks on Geonosis, get really amazing views, and it does go quite high up. And then when you look out, you see all the Geonosians flying around, and I don't know why the Geonosian ain't a playable character. I think he was cut from the game, which is a bit disappointing. And the main reason why, because the weapon that the Geonosians use just gives me so much nostalgia playing LEGO Star Wars 3 back in the day. I love that sound. So making its way into number 8 on the list is my least favourite Star Wars planet in Star Wars, but in this game, I think it changed my opinion. And if you're sat there wondering what that planet is, well, it's Kashyyyk. Now, to get the full experience of Kashyyyk, you have to be Ki-Adi-Mundi. What about the droid attack on the Wookiees? So the scale of Kashyyyk in this game is just next level stuff. Right, well, I'm not going to bang on about Kashyyyk because you can see it yourself. The sheer scale of this planet is very impressive. From scaling up all the giant trees and standing where Order 66 was executed, and I love that place on this map. You can see out into all the scenery and the ocean and the beach. Now, what did it so much for me on Kashyyyk is how it is very open. It's not linear at all. You can enter all the trees without doing the little interior cutscene. From exploring the beach area at the front, which is all open, the swampy bit at the back, which again is all open to explore, there's no linear path on Kashyyyk. So yeah, I don't think I need to bang on about it anymore. You can see it yourself, Kashyyyk is really mind-blowing. I love the scale of it, and that's why it comes in at number 8. Right then, coming in at number 7 was one of my most anticipated planets in the game alongside Crate, and that is Kamino. Now, I was super excited for Kamino, and to say it lived up to my expectations, I think it even exceeded them. And I absolutely love Kamino, and I've always been a massive fan of it. It's got a very unique personality because it's always raining, and then you have all the whitewashed corridors. And there's quite a lot of fun stuff going on in Kamino. You've got the mini-game room where it's a bit of an arcade. You've also got the canteen where you see all the clone troopers having their dinner. And alongside this, I love going out onto the landing pad where you fight Jango Fett, and I thought that was one of the best little hub levels in the game. Now, yes, Kamino is very, very linear, but that is accurate to the source material with all the whitewashed corridors, and I even love Jango Fett's little room just chilling out in there. And it's all thanks to this amazing Kaminoian sweeping the floor. You keep it looking shiny, mate. You're doing a good job, pal. And Kamino really does go to show the graphical potential in this game with all the shiny floors looking out of the window, seeing all the rain going down. Anyway, pack your things, we're leaving. It's time to move on to number 6. So coming in at number 6 is Cantonoka. Now, for some reason, Cantonoka is really big in this game. To say it only appears in The Last Jedi, they went all out on this planet. Now, the main attraction on Cantonoka is obviously the casino, and I love the casino, doing all the minigames, and you also can rob the vault, which is a cool little side quest. Now, I don't know if it's just me, but I find the music in the casino very, very strange. And it's not just the casino, there's lots of other interiors on Canto Bight, such as a little food shop, and when you get the Carby brick, it's called Canto Bites. See what they did there? Now, Cantonoka is one of the few planets set at night time within this game, and it's just a really nice contrast. You've got the bright city of Naboo, and then you have the dark city of Cantonoka. And I love riding around on the Fathiers. I think that's how you say it, Fathier? Yeah, Fathiers. And you can ride around on them and just recreate the scene from the movie. And that's why I really love Cantonoka in this game. It's just a complete contrast to every other planet. You have the casino with the weird music, you have the beach area, and it's all set at night time. Right then, moving into the top 5, and coming in at number 5 is Mustafar. Now, Mustafar is one of the most tensest planets going. The minute you load in, you get Battle of the Heroes. Dun, 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 dun. It's just straight down your throat. And surprisingly, Mustafar is very, very big in this game, and I love the little disco room where all the B1 battle droids are partying. It's a shame you can't enter that once you've completed the quest. It's really annoying, because it's such a good room, and I love how you can go into the separatist board meeting rooms. You have the outside area with all the lava spewing out, and the background scenery is some of the best background scenery in the game. And then you've got all the little parkour segments, which I don't know why I struggled so much on it. And oh yeah, how can you forget the amazing boss battle where you fight the lava eel? Oh, that was mint. And the main reason why I think Mustafar's so good in this game is because when they were designing the level Battle of the Heroes, the level is pretty much just the open world. And that's why I believe Mustafar's so fleshed out, because whilst they were designing the level, a lot of the factors carry over to the open world. And like I mentioned earlier, just hearing the amazing soundtrack in the background whilst you're running around just tops off the experience, and Mustafar is a very, very solid planet. Right then, just beating Mustafar at number 4 is Act 2. Now, it's either Act 2 or Act 2, but personally I prefer Act 2. Now, this is no lie, the planet of Act 2 really goes to show the graphical potential of this game, seeing all the water splashing onto the rocks. It's stunning. And then there's that little dance festival with all the nuns or whatever they're called. And then obviously it's a no-brainer, I have to mention the amazing porgs. And you may be sat there thinking, does it get even better? Yes it does, you can see the nuns doing the conga. Now, very similar to Mustafar, Act 2 is really good in this game because the main reason why is they had to design this for most of the levels in The Last Jedi, so they might as well just go all out with it. And it really goes to show because you can easily see how they went to do that. Everything you see on Act 2 you can literally scale. You can climb up most of the cliff sides, all the big hills. You can even go to the spot where Luke Skywalker died, and I love that little spot, looking out onto all of the ocean. And when I was playing through The Last Jedi, I was really astonished just exploring Act 2, and that's the main reason, like I mentioned earlier, that's why it's so good. They had to make it good because a lot of The Last Jedi takes place on Act 2. Now, there is a few interiors on the planet, such as you can enter Luke Skywalker's tiny little house. And I love looking at all of Luke's memorabilia that he's collected throughout his journey in the galaxy. And I mean, that's why Act 2 is so high on the list. It really deserves this spot, because it's wicked. Right then, we are now finally moving into the top 3, and the top 3 could go any way round really, it's personal preference at the end of the day, and coming in at number 3 is Naboo. Now, Naboo has a lot to offer. You obviously have the city of Theed, and then you have the Gungan city. Now, Naboo, for the majority of people, was the first planet you fully got to explore in the Skywalker Saga, because a lot of people started off with the Phantom Menace. And you know what they say, first impressions are very important, and TT Games definitely knew this when they made Naboo. And I think we all can remember loading into the Phantom Menace, seeing the Gungan city for the first time, and that's just a small part of Naboo. And then once you've explored the Gungan city, you start the level of Bigger Fish, and then once you've done that level, you enter the city of Theed. And it's no doubt that Theed doesn't look amazing because it's based off Italian architecture, and you can really see that. And I love how Theed is very open. You can drive around in tanks and shoot at whatever you want. You can climb up most of the buildings. And yes, there is plenty of interiors to explore, such as Theed Palace itself, and the palace looks really nice with all the lighting coming in and the reflections. And I'm going to be honest here, I don't have all too much to say about Naboo because I think they nailed it. Anyway, coming in at number 2, and like I said, the top 3 could go anywhere around really, and number 2 is Tatooine. Now, Tatooine is the main planet in Star Wars because literally every single trilogy you go back to Tatooine. You see it in the sequels, you see it in the original trilogy and the prequels. Now, Tatooine is split into 3 main districts, that being Mos Espa. And why is Mos Espa so big and amazing? I did not expect them to go this much in detail with Mos Espa. And then you have the Junlan Waste, where you have Jabba's palace, the Lars homestead, Obi-Wan Kenobi's hut, and I love Obi-Wan Kenobi's hut. You see all the pictures of him in the Clone Wars. With the addition of the Jawa village too, because the Jawa village was actually cut from A New Hope script, and they went to add it into the Skywalker Saga, and that is just attention to detail. Now, I really wish you could change the time of day on the Junlan Wasteland, because when you play through Episode 2 Attack of the Clones, you do get to explore the Junlan Waste at night time. And now it's time to move over to the wretched place of scum and villainy, and that's Mos Eisley, and Mos Eisley just tops off Tatooine on a whole nother level. Now let's just take a rewind all the way back to 2007 with the complete saga. You have the Cantina, and now we have the entirety of Mos Eisley and the Cantina. And Mos Eisley really has a lot going for it. You have all the market stalls, you have the docking bays, you have the Cantina with the Cantina band playing the amazing soundtrack. They literally play that song all the time, don't they? 24/7. I mean, I don't blame them, it's a good song. Now, I'm sure we all can admit here we have all jumped in the Sarlacc pit. We all have. Right then, I'm sure you all know what's coming in at number 1, and it's obviously Coruscant. There you go, take a look. Enough said. So there you go, thank you for watching my ranking of all the planets. No, I'm only joking, I'll get into why Coruscant's the best. So Coruscant has 2 major districts, and that being the Uskru district alongside the Federal district. Now for me personally, I prefer the Uskru district to the Federal district because I think it has more personality and I love the nightclub. I mean, does anybody want to buy some death sticks? Imagine if you could buy death sticks in this game. I know they're not allowed to because it's the Star Wars, you know. Yeah, I really love how the Uskru district has so much personality going on. You have all the holo projectors and the holograms, the nightclub, and then you have like the market area and all the grubby back streets. And how can you forget the legendary Dexter's Diner? Oh, well, what do you know? That was such an amazing hub level where you have to serve everyone Jawa juice and proton fizzlers. And I think that's why I prefer the Uskru district, because it's Dexter's Diner. But that's not me saying I don't like the Federal district, because the Federal district obviously has the Jedi Temple. I mean, come on. And I mean, look at the Jedi Council, and it gets even better. You can also take a seat on the council. Oh, TT Games, you've done it. Then you've got the Jedi Archives, the Senate's office, and I love the little picture of him and Darth Plagueis and Padme's apartment. There is so much going on in Coruscant with the main Federal district with the big shopping mall. So then, there you go. That's why Coruscant's the best. Now it's time to say it. Thank you for watching my ranking of all 24 planets in the game, well 23. And if you did go to enjoy, please feel free to subscribe and go to drop a like. That will really mean a lot to me if you did go to enjoy though, because I do lots of other LEGO game content and a lot of Skywalker Saga stuff too. Anyway, thanks for watching, have a good week. I'll see you all in a bit. Adios.